Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining me for another video, and I'm going to be exploring. Well, I'm going to be letting you in a little bit on my personal life. I'm just kidding. I'm going to be giving a little insight onto how I sort my cigars, but that's not going to be an in-depth discussion. I'm only going to be talking about one area of my humidor, and that is the bottom drawer of my humidor. And I think all of us have what could be considered a bottom drawer or a certain section of the humidor that we cordon off, and we're basically like, these are the cigars I'm not likely to smoke on a regular basis. Every now and then I might bust one out, but for the most part, these are the cigars I pass out to friends of mine who don't smoke as often as I do and things like that. So my bottom drawer, what's in my bottom drawer? Obviously, I'm not going to bust out the entire drawer, but I'm going to share a few of the smokes that I keep in my bottom drawer of my humidor. So, no doubt your imagination is running wild, so I won't waste any more time, and let's cue that music and get started. I couldn't hold a straight face. What's up, guys? You're watching Dad Smoking Cigars, sponsored by StogieLives.com and, of course, Casa Cuevas Cigars. From our Casa to yours. Thank you so much for joining me for another Friday video. And you know what? I was kind of struck when I walked into my studio this evening, and I was struck with, I guess you could call it inspiration. I had a thought, and it just kind of stayed with me, and I decided to roll with it. And I have at times on social media and whatnot kind of given a tour of my humidor. It's basically a 2-foot tall winedor. It belonged to my dad at one point, and it has 5 drawers in it. Obviously the top drawers are the ones that, like the top 3 to 4 drawers have pretty good, decent, I mean some of the best cigars, I think. In my collection, those are the ones that I'm most likely to smoke, and I still always have a hard time picking, because sometimes there's a cigar that's like calling out to you, and there's other times where you're just like, I have no friggin' clue what I'm gonna smoke. So yeah, those top drawers, they're the ones that I usually, those are the ones that I normally go to. And then of course there's my bottom drawer, and my bottom drawer I tend to kind of let collect and pool and not really I think the last time I grabbed a cigar out of there was, I mean, it's fairly recent, probably about a month and a half ago. I decided to bust out a cigar that I don't normally smoke, a brand I don't normally smoke. It's a drawer that I don't normally visit. Now, that isn't to say that I have just stuffed a bunch of really bad cigars down there. That's not at all what I'm trying to imply, but they are brands that I don't normally smoke, and a lot of them were gifted to me, a lot of them by my dad, because my dad's such a wonderful person. He likes to share his cigars with his oldest son, and because I love smoking with my dad, and I love getting to enjoy different cigars every now and then, adds variety to my humidor. And I'm not gonna say no, even if it is a brand that I don't normally smoke, because I might have someone over who doesn't smoke as often as I do, and I decide to offer them one from that drawer. Now, some people might kind of be like, okay, bad form, dude, you're off. That's your that's your bottom shelf stuff. That's the kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally smoke, that you wouldn't normally be caught smoking. So, I mean, isn't that kind of a dick move to share that with your friends, the smokes you wouldn't normally have? It's not necessarily, because there's a number of big name brands that I keep in that drawer. They've sat for a long time. It hasn't really emptied out like the other drawers in my humidor, but they're always there in case I need something, in case I need a cigar while I'm doing a project, working out in the yard or something, or a cigar. I got some big fat cigars in that bottom drawer that honestly take a really long time to smoke, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to smoke tonight. I don't think I'm going to go with the crazy big ring gauge, but I'm going to show you a few examples of what I have in my bottom drawer, and you can make of them what you will. You can judge me however you like, and you can say either, hey, I love those cigars and they're actually in the top drawers of my humidor. What the hell, man? I mean, I may get that reaction, but I don't know. So I won't know until I show you, and I won't know until you say it in the comments. So please chime in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. All right, so I got a few here. Now, again, like I said before, these are not like the brands, the kind of brands that I think are crappy or aren't very good. They're not my favorites, but they're brands every now and then that I enjoy. And so here we go. I'm going to start with kind of the lowest priced one that I think among the bunch, and that is the Drew Estate Factory Smokes. Now, I will say that these can come through in a pinch if you just want to smoke something. And the first time I smoked these, it was actually pretty good. I mean, these are the Connecticut Shades, I think, or something like that. Yeah, these are, and you can get a box of 25 of these for like 40 or 50 bucks. They are not expensive at all. They're actually pretty affordable. If you want an inexpensive smoke that's made by a reputable brand, but it's kind of their lower shelf stuff, this is like, I think, C-grade tobacco. It's not the creme de la creme. It's the not as creme, but it actually can taste pretty good. They don't always hit the spot for me, but every now and then I will smoke one. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't bad. I enjoyed that. That worked for the situation. And then, of course, I'm going to move up onto the mock cigars, which there are certain, I think, retailers, especially online retailers, that might make their own cigars and have, you know, the whatever the name of their website or brand is, their shop online, they might actually have their own cigars made. And one of those is JR Cigars. Now, my dad orders quite frequently from JR Cigars, and they do have an excellent collection, not just of big name brands, but also boutiques. And these are the JR Edition Limitada, and I don't know if that means much to some people, and if you want to see a funny little commentary on all that, why don't you go check out my video with the Cigar Titans on my channel, because I busted out one of these and I started smoking it, and my dad, being the very kind person that he is and wanting to kind of give me a leg up on what it's supposed to be, a imitation of a certain brand of cigar, and oh no, I know what this is now. Monte Cristo limited edition is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a mock of the, or just like an imitation of the Monte Cristo limited edition. Honestly, don't think I'll be smoking that tonight. So that's another one. And then, of course, I got a couple Rocky Patels here. I know Rocky Patel is a very well-known, well-loved brand. A lot of people smoke Rocky. For a long time, I smoked a lot of Rocky Patel cigars, namely the Old World Reserve, which is one of their least expensive cigars. And again, they can come through in a pinch. It doesn't quite hit the spot for me anymore. I don't really smoke it anymore, even though I have a few in my bottom drawer. And I might break one of those out if I just want to smoke something and I don't want to, you know, smoke one of my more cherished cigars in my humidor. So, but I have the Special Reserve Sun-Grown Maduro, and this is actually a pretty good one. I've tried this before. I did a review of it on my channel last year when I was reviewing some like heritage brands, big name brands, and stuff like that. This is pretty good. I think this is like the Gordo. Like, this is a big fat one. The one that I reviewed was a box press, so I don't think I'll be smoking this one either, because it's gonna take me a while and it's starting to get late and I haven't even started smoking yet. What the hell's wrong with me? This is and this one is the Rocky Patel 15th anniversary, and I think I might be smoking this one because it's one of the smaller smokes, and I think it won't give me as drawn out of a smoke, unlike this big Bertha right here. And this is the CAO Flat Horse Steelhead, or Flathead Steel Horse, and I think this is the 770. I smoked this, did a review of it, and it hurt my jaw, because I mean this crazy ring gauge, 70 ring gauge, 7-inch cigar, 70 ring gauge, and yeah, I mean I would have to have a lot of time on my hands to smoke that one, because I think that one took me like 3 hours, so definitely not doing that one. So I'm going to go ahead and light this one up real quick, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about my choices and why I put certain cigars in my bottom drawer. So, okay guys, so I decided to go with the Rocky Patel 15th anniversary. Can't quite see it. Autofocus isn't happening on my phone, but you know. But you can see the Rocky Patel logo. But anyways, yeah, I mean, on the head, not too bad of a cigar from the start. So why do I put these cigars, these brands of cigars, in my bottom drawer? Well, it's been a process. Honestly, a lot of these cigars, these brands that I'm talking about, like Rocky Patel, CAO, and some of the other cigars that I shared with you, for a number of, months, a couple years, they spent time in the upper drawers of my humidor, in the exclusive spots, the VIP spots. That's where they sat, because that's what I smoked at the time. That's mostly what I smoked. I smoked a lot of, big name brands and well-known brands, because that's usually what you start with, right? And even though I've been smoking for years, technically I've been smoking cigars since I was 19. I've only been consistently, regularly smoking, being a dedicated cigar smoker, for the last 3 years, more or less, where I've been smoking more frequently, and to the point where I started Dad Smoking Cigars, and, been able to do the things that I'm doing. And so, yeah, I smoke a lot more often than I used to. And during that time, I have come into contact and experienced a number of different brands. Obviously one of them being Casa Cuevas. And then, of course, there's my buddy Steve, Frontline Cigars, has his own cigars made, the Blue Line and the Defender. A couple of, I guess you could say, house cigars for his website, Frontline Cigars. Those are the cigars that have the brand name on them, and they're excellent smokes. And then, of course, there's a couple of the other boutique brands that I've tried. I've tried 1502 and a couple others. Some newer ones I've been introduced to. I did Lambert last week, the 1675. I got introduced to GTO cigars through a buddy who sent me a couple of his, and all of that good stuff. I've been able to get introduced to these brands, so many of them. I know I'm forgetting a bunch that I want to name, but it would take me forever. So suffice it to say, I've gotten introduced to brands that have been more what my palate likes, or they've developed my palate to a point where I know what I enjoy. And some of these cigars, the bigger name cigars, don't quite hit the spot like some of these newer cigars, these boutique brands and hidden gems that I love to find and I love to come into contact with. And the bigger name brands, while I know that there's a lot of quality in them and stuff like that, some of the cigars that I smoke, can taste very similar. They don't quite have a variety or uniqueness to them that I really enjoy. I love a cigar that is different and nuanced and has, flavors and different, elements to them that I don't experience in some of these, bigger name brands. And so they tend to kind of drift to the bottom of my humidor. And that's where they sit until I feel like maybe busting one out and smoking one, like I'm doing tonight. And this isn't bad. The 15th anniversary, it is not a bad cigar. There's only so many Rocky Patels that I think I truly enjoy. But every now and then I'll just bust one out because I feel like smoking a cigar. And you know what? Rocky Patel isn't a bad brand at all. And so, same thing with CAO and other brands like this. And one brand I forgot to mention is 5 Vegas. This has been sitting in the bottom of my humidor. I ordered, this cigar was among an order that I put on Cigars International a long time ago. And it was part of a 20 pack of cigars of different brands and stuff like that. And this was one of them. And it's been sitting in my humidor so long that the cello is it's getting yellow and dark and stuff like that. I don't know if you can tell by looking at it, but it's been sitting for a while. That's a brand I don't smoke very often anymore. And I'm not harping on the brand at all, but it's not as appealing as it once was. And so it's not a brand that I smoke that much anymore. And so yes, it's at the bottom of my humidor. So I know these are brands that people enjoy on the regular, but these are ones that I'm not as into anymore, or they don't quite suit my palate the way that they once did, because my palate's developed and changed. And I like different things, and some of these brands don't quite ring as true as they used to. And so I've kind of moved on or moved around, and then every now and then I kind of come back to these because they're what I smoked in the beginning. So, sometimes it's nice to revisit them. So that's a little insight into the the hierarchy, I guess, of my humidor, on what is starts at the top going down to the bottom. And these are some of the cigars that rest on the bottom drawer of my humidor, and they kind of linger and stay there for a while. And I know that they'll always be there, and I'll always have them. If I want to smoke them, they will be there waiting for me to smoke them. So, it's great it's a blessing, and it's a very wonderful thing to have drawers full of cigars in your humidor. So I can't complain in the slightest, and even these bottom ones are reliable. So every now and then I might venture on down there to see if there's something I feel like busting out and smoking. So anyways, guys, that's a shorter video this week, but I thought it would be a fun subject to kind of touch on and all that good stuff. So why don't you guys tell me a little bit about the bottom drawer of your humidor, or is there a humidor, maybe you have several tabletop humidors that you keep in your home? What's the one humidor that you keep, like the lesser smoked brands that you've been given or you bought a long time ago that you're not as into anymore, and so you kind of have them put into another box where it kind of just sits, and maybe that's the box you open up when friends or company comes over and they want to smoke a cigar? I don't know. Tell me about it in the comments below. I want to know a little bit more about your bottom drawer, or your I don't know what you call it, your bottom shelf tabletop humidor box. I don't know. I'm gonna stop. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope at the very least you found it entertaining. I had fun with it. So, and I think that's the most important thing, is just to have fun. So, hope you guys are having fun. Hope you guys are smoking some great cigars, whatever brand you smoke. And yeah, man, thank you so much for checking out this video. I appreciate you guys and your support. Be sure to give the video a like, share it with someone you think might appreciate it, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, because I just love creating content for you guys. So anyways, guys, as always, I will catch you in the next one. It went out on me. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and also follow Dad Smoking Cigars on dads_smoking_cigars on Instagram, and be sure to check us out on Facebook. Until then, guys, stay smoky, and I'll see you in the next one. Allergies suck.